I'm Kate Gardens, and this is our weekly market update for Friday, November 30, 2012. This week we will look at capital expenses and replacement reserves. Stuff wears out. Apartment investors know that. So they budget for it, setting up a replacement reserve to take care of future capital costs. For most properties, this replacement reserve is too little, usually running $200 to $300 a unit a year. A typical replacement reserve budget includes the cost to replace appliances, water heaters, window coverings, carpeting, roof, and maybe a few other components. But that's about all. If investors budgeted for decks, parking lots, kitchen and bathroom cabinets, windows, water lines, plumbing, and other property needs, the replacement reserve budget will easily exceed $600 a unit, even for a new property. So why don't apartment investors budget enough? Alvin Arnold explains why, in his Real Estate Investor's Desk book, essentially saying, owners are often reluctant to use a complete schedule of capital components, because the resulting reserve is depressingly high. That may feel good in the pocketbook now, but it will hurt later, and ultimately costs money at the time of sale. The 2012 edition of our Apartment Expense Report found investors spent an average of $717 a unit on capital expenses last year. Capital expenses have averaged more than $500 a unit every year since 2000. They jumped significantly in 2007 and 2008, because a lot of investors put extra money into renovation, to modernize their properties and capture higher rents. $717 is just the average capital expense for the market overall each year. You would expect individual properties to have some high-cost years and low-cost years. So we looked at 80 properties where we have information on capital expenses every year over the past 10 years. The graph shows the results. Capital expenses did indeed go up and down over the past 10 years. But the overall trend was up. And costs never went down that much. Newer properties don't have a lot of capital expenses, at least for a while. This next chart shows what investors spent last year, based on the age of their properties. For example, properties built in the last 5 years spent just $252 a unit last year. But once a property hits grade school age, costs go up. We created a replacement model a number of years ago, so that subscribers to our Apartment Advisor can create a customized replacement reserve estimate for their individual situation. The graph shows the results for a new property. If your strategy is buy and hold for the long term, be prepared to budget a hefty replacement reserve. This example shows it will take close to $600 a unit a year to get through 30 years. If you are only looking to own for 5 or 10 years, you should be able to get away with half that amount. How can it be possible for investors to budget less than half of what they really need for replacement reserves? And how does it work out for them? In a lot of cases it does appear to work out. That's because they postpone capital projects that are due, but not critical. That sounds smart. But it usually isn't. We recently posted a video article about apartment renovation trends. The article shows that some investors buy properties with renovation potential and generate significant increases in net income as a result of the work, as the graph shows. So, is saving money by minimizing your capital expenses the smartest way to go? No, it's not. You end up losing a lot more revenue than the money saved, and you ultimately lose value when you decide to sell. Patty, Mike and I hope you enjoyed this video and article. If you did, here is a shameless plug. Why not subscribe to our Apartment Advisor newsletter? It is ridiculously cheap, because it is filled with so much valuable information. Join us again, next Friday, for a new apartment market update. Goodbye.